Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to FMSCOUT. It is RDF from FMSCOUT, and today's video I have selected 5 very cool tips for your FM21 save. Most of them are regarding scouting. One of them is regarding your squad view. You can now customize your own squad view to see things that maybe you couldn't see before. And with the scouting, we have some very cool tricks that again you may not have noticed before, even with work permits. We have a little trick for work permits, we have a little hack for scouting packages, so make sure you guys stay in tune to find out these tips. Before we get started, if you are new or you haven't yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button, get those notifications. Some of you guys are not receiving your notifications. Make sure you also like this video and leave a comment if you wish to. That was the intro for this video. Now let's get started with these 5 very cool tips for your FM21 save. So this very first tip that I'm going to show you could be considered a hack or an exploit. Now this little hack was originally found by Hood Gaming, so make sure you check out his video. The link to that will be in the description below. But this was found by Hood Gaming in FM20, so I cannot take any credit for this little hack or tip whatsoever. All the credit would and should go to Hood Gaming. So this hack is very simple to do. You really don't have to do much. This hack is all about your scouting package, how you can expand your scouting package without it costing a thing. So as you can see, I am Salford City. They are in League 2. We do not have the money to have a world package or a Europe package throughout the whole year. But what I can do is have it for a day completely free, basically. You can see that currently we have around 4,482 players found in our player search. So what I'm going to do is actually increase my scouting package to world. But before I do that, take note of our scouting budget. It is on 64.5k. If I go to my finances again, you can see the scouting budget here is 61k. I'm not sure why it says 64. Oh, the remaining is 61k. But what we are going to do is now increase our scouting package to world. Once I do that, you can see now we have a lot more players in our player search. I don't even want to attempt to say that number, but what you can see in our scouting package, it hasn't affected it whatsoever yet. Obviously we are on the same day, so the tip is do not skip a day with the recruitment package on world. You want to only do this for one day. So now our recruitment package is on world. Basically we can scout all of these players that we couldn't scout before because we couldn't afford to. So if I wanted to, here we are, I can just literally scout these people here, get a scout report. Once I do my search and I find the players I want to scout, I just simply go back to my recruitment package and go back to no package. There we are. I'm going to skip a day to check the finances, and if on the next day our scouting budget is still the same, then the little hack has worked for us. So what we're going to do is actually skip a day. So here we are on the next day, the 24th of September. We're going to go to the finances, and as you can see now, the scouting budget is still on 61,000. Go to the scouting, the player pool, and again, the scouting budget remains the same. But as you can see, we are scouting these players and they are still in the search. So you can actually scout every single player if you wanted to, and all those players may or may not remain in your search. So that is tip number 1. That is the hack for your scouting package. You can scout the world basically without it costing a thing. So now for number 2, the next tip I want to show you, well, you can actually use it with number 1. You can actually use it with the scouting package hack. So again, if I go to world maybe if I want to, and I search yes, and I wait for all those players to load again, and simply just going to go to new search, go to additional conditions, go to transfers, and as you can see now, you can search by work permit chance. You can search if that player is likely to have a work permit, may qualify for a work permit, or would probably fail. If you are searching for players, you probably do not want to select the bottom option. Of course you don't. And this little tip is great for those who are managing in England and struggling to sign players because of the work permit. Now you can filter your search. You don't have to waste time scouting players who aren't likely to get a work permit. You can search players by work permit being likely or may qualify for a work permit. That is down to you. But what we're going to do is change the nationality and is not a European national maybe. We're going to press OK, and as you can see, we have found 28 players who don't have the European nationality but are likely to gain a work permit, and that is just through this little search here. Now if I go to may qualify for a work permit, well, it's found 18 players. Again, I'm pretty sure these are the same players, or there might be actually different players. I think they're different players, but again, these players may qualify for a work permit if you choose to sign them. So you could just scout them, offer them, and hopefully they will gain a work permit. But these players all have a high chance of getting a work permit. You are likely filtering out players and you're saving time on scouting on those players just who aren't going to get a work permit for you. So that is number 2, a very cool tip, especially if you are managing in England and struggling with the work permit. For tip number 3, now we are going to go to the squad to check this squad view. Now this squad view might not look pleasant to you guys. You can actually customize your own squad view the way you choose to. So where it says the player's name or position, wherever you want, you right click and then you can go to customize current view. Currently I'm just using a copy of the fitness and I've added my own, but what we are interested is in these: match sharpness, training load, match load, fatigue, overall physical condition, and match sharpness. Now of course, overall physical condition and match sharpness, those were visible to you before always, but fatigue wasn't. Fatigue is now not under the hood anymore in Football Manager 2021. But this squad view, basically you have a squad view where you can monitor your players' fatigue and you can skip out or just not play those players who are starting to lose their fresh fatigue. Not only that, over on the right we're seeing some crazy numbers here, but these numbers are actually a signal of the player's condition and the player's match sharpness. So if we filter players by match sharpness, you can see these players have poor match sharpness, and these numbers will reflect that. The lower the number here, the poorer the match sharpness. The higher the number, the better the match sharpness. So of course you can see that the 10,000 means the player is match sharp. So seeing these numbers can give you a very clear idea of how fit a guy is with his overall condition or how match sharp that player is. People aren't fully used to the condition icon. They don't know if the player is fully fit. These numbers should help you out immensely. If we filter players by their condition, you can see that -1, the player is probably injured, and the lower the number, again, the poorer the condition. The higher the number, the more fit the player is. So here, this guy is an excellent example. He is a goalkeeper. He has excellent match sharpness and excellent overall condition, so with a fresh fatigue, so that player, you are likely to play him. And there's more players here with very good match condition and match sharpness. This Ian Henderson, he is losing his fatigue a little despite having very good numbers on condition and match sharpness, so you might want to maybe give him a rest, miss him out for a match. You can now change your squad view. What I do, I just use fitness and then I right click, I customize my view, and then I add the overall physical condition and match sharpness. Those are the numbers. You can add training load, match load, and fatigue. Of course, with training load and match load, again, you are getting a very good idea of how that person is working in training and how many times he has played recently. If he's played a lot recently, then he is going to have a heavy workload. If he hasn't played a lot recently, then his workload will be light. So that is tip number 3. This next tip number 4, is something that a few football managers may know about already. Some completely do not know that it's there, so I am going to show you. It's something quick, it's something pretty simple. Now, with all these players in the search, they are only showing me players that are certainly interested in joining, but what the search doesn't know, that it could be missing out players that are still interested in joining me but aren't in the search. And all you've got to do is select this little icon next to transfer, and just change it to either slightly interested, unsure or doubtful. I always go for doubtful because you get more players in your search, and players that are doubtful in joining you can still join. Look, now we have 19 players in the search, which is probably just one more. I think there was 18, so let me just get rid of this, and we're going to search for players who are transfer listed. At the moment it is on doubtful and there are 90 players in our search currently, but if I leave it on the default setting, which is interested, then there are 86 players now found. Only 4 player difference again, but of course the bigger the search, then likely the more players that are missing in the search, because your player search may only be searching for players who they think is interested. But if you use the doubtful option, those players who are doubtful in joining are still possibly interested in joining you. So that is tip number 4. When you are searching for players, make sure you use doubtful or unsure. It doesn't matter. It just means that your player search, they're just unsure if certain players are interested, so they won't include them in your search. Last and not least, do not always follow your scout. Me, I do listen to my scout reports. I like reading scout reports, but not only they have interesting reports, always check your analyst report as well, because there could be some contradictions. Now, I'm Salford City, so I'm not actually sure if I have any data analysts or good ones if we do have any. If we go to the scout report, then Mengi will have a scout report of 87, a very good signing. That is what the scout would say. But if I go to the analyst report, he will have his own opinion, but his opinion is based off statistics. Now, of course, he will be analyzing the player. He'll be watching thoroughly, taking notes of strengths, of weakness, errors, mistakes, goals, assists, all of that good stuff. He will then work out a recommendation score, but that recommendation score could be completely different to your scout report. Now, I've seen someone with a scout report of 80 plus, then it got to the analyst report and the analyst recommendation was on 17. So I said, no thank you. I do not want that player in my squad. So when you are scouting a player, make sure you always check the analyst report too, because you can find some interesting things and that might actually stop you from signing a player, and rightly so. For the last tip, number 5, make sure you always check your analyst report when you are reading your scout report. If a scout report is very high, sometimes it's just too good to be true. Make sure you check the analyst report, because he could be saying something different and he is actually basing his recommendation off statistics and match performances. Whew. That is the end of the video. I hope you guys have enjoyed these 5 very cool tips for your Football Manager 2021 save. It has been RDF. It has been a pleasure. Don't forget, make sure you like this video, make sure you leave a comment and subscribe to get those notifications, because some of you are not getting your notifications. It's been RDF. It's been a pleasure. Also, huge credit for Hood Gaming. Make sure you check him out. The link to his channel will be in the description below. See you soon. Peace out.